Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Natural Living. Today we're going to talk about one of the most commonly used and probably favourite herbs, and that is of course mint. This is such a refreshing kind of light herb. I really enjoy using it. So it has lots and lots of healing properties, which we are absolutely going to get into. And it's not just, the mint you find in your chewing gum or your tea bags and things like that. There are so many different varieties out there that I have researched and discovered, and they have so many different flavors. It's actually incredible. So let's get into the wonderful world of mint, from its herbal roots to all the ways that we can use it in our daily lives. Kicking off with chapter 1, which is the magic of mint in herbalism. So mint is a fantastic herb for beginners because it is so easy to grow. It is abundant and very versatile as well, actually. It's a really cooling, uplifting, and it's really good for digestion and your nervous system as well. So if you have IBS or tummy upsets and things like that, this is a great herb. Mint has been used for, thousands of years in cultures across the globe. Obviously, it originated in Europe, I believe. We'll get to that in a second. From ancient Egypt to traditional Chinese medicine, it's been used in lots of different cultures. And there is a very good reason why it is stuck around for so long and why it's so popular. So chapter 2 is we're going to look into the folklore associated with mint. Obviously it's a really familiar herb, but like many plants, it has loads and loads of kind of backstories or origin stories, I think the youth say nowadays, that kind of delve into the past of this herb. So in ancient mythology, mint was once a nymph named Mentha. So according to Greek legend, she caught the eye of Hades, who was the god of the underworld. And when his wife Persephone discovered this, she turned Mentha into a plant, into the mint herb. And then she crushed it under her foot, which was, Greek myth. But Hades, who was obviously still fond of his lover, softened the curse by giving the plant its wonderful, sweet, uplifting scent. So her memory would kind of be raised with every step you took on it. It's such an interesting metaphor for resilience, and mint is a really resilient plant. It kind of grows stronger and more fragrant the kind of more its leaves are kind of squashed. It really releases the oils and those scents. In ancient Rome, mint was a symbol of hospitality. So hosts would often rub tables with mint leaves before their guests arrive to both cleanse the space and kind of invite joy to their gathering. Mint wreaths were also worn on your head to stimulate your mind and to protect against things like fatigue and sleepiness. And these were especially worn during long kind of discussions or studies. In old European folklore, mint was thought to drive away evil and to attract abundance. It was planted near doorways and windows to protect your home, and sprigs were often tucked into your wallets or worn during trade to encourage wealth and prosperity. There's even an old tale I found where if you rubbed mint on your body during the full moon, it would strengthen your voice and make your words more powerful. So, if you really want to get going with that, you absolutely can. It supposedly kind of helped if you needed to speak the truth or you wanted to make like a wish or, something like that. And in herbal love magic, mint was seen as a plant of clarity and heart healing. So if somebody was feeling kind of muddled or confused or overwhelmed in matters of the heart, mint tea was said to help bring that clarity and honesty to them, and gently kind of help the heart and head speak the same language, I suppose. Then we have chapter 3. So this is the different varieties of mint and how we grow them. So this is really interesting. So the mint family is pretty broad. There is a lot more to it than, just meets the eye in, the vegetable aisle in Tesco's, where you see standard garden mint, which is the first one we're going to look at. This is also known as spearmint. So this is, your classic mint that you will see in the kitchen, as I said, down the supermarket aisle. It's sweet and fresh and really handy for things like teas, sauces, and any, summer drinks, in your Pims, that kind of thing. It's milder than peppermint and a little bit sweeter as well. Next up, we have chocolate mint. Yes, it I actually do think it has a subtle chocolatey note. It does taste different from, you know, your standard garden mint. It's like, yeah, it's kind of more pepperminty as well. So this is really good on things like desserts, iced teas, and even like you could infuse it in like your hot chocolate or warm milk if you like kind of minty chocolate things. Then we have apple mint. So this variety has really like soft fuzzy leaves, and it does have quite a fruity aroma as well. Again, it's less intense than peppermint, and I really like it in things like salads, or it's actually really nice if you blend it into smoothies, like green smoothies and things like that. Then of course we have peppermint. So this one is obviously packed more of a punch than the previous ones. It's got a higher menthol content, which is why it kind of has that stronger taste. And it's also why it's more kind of cooling and tingly as well. So this is really great for your digestion and any sinus relief. There are loads and loads of other varieties of mint, things like grapefruit mint, pineapple mint, even orange mint, which is kind of wild. So if you're a gardener, mint is one of those plants that you can have a lot of fun with, and like you could just collect lots of different varieties. And there definitely is a difference. It's not just one of those gimmicky things, because I was a bit skeptical. But I literally saw all of these varieties of mint at a food market the weekend just gone, and yeah, they really do smell different. There was also strawberry mint, which was very, very sweet. Next up, we have the sciencey stuff. So what is actually happening to us when we use mint for our health? Mint is really rich in menthol, which is a compound known for its cooling, soothing properties. And it works by triggering the cold sensitive receptors in your skin and your throat, which is why it feels so refreshing and, as I said, cooling on you. Also has anti-spasmodic effects, which basically means it can help calm your muscles, especially again in the digestive tract. So that's why mint is so helpful after a big meal, or if your tummy is feeling like a little bit off. There's even research showing that peppermint oil can ease symptoms of IBS and help improve your focus and alertness too, which is really cool. And yeah, if you do struggle with tummy problems, IBS, peppermint really does help. As I say in every video, and I kind of feel like I have to, just in case, obviously, you know, check with your GP before you go mixing any herbs into your diet if you're already on medication, and if, you know, you have a genuine medical problem, please go see your GP. Don't just fix it with the herbs. So how do we use mint in herbalism? So here are the fun recipes that I found. Obviously, we always start with a tea, and fresh mint tea is honestly one of my favorite things. I have it literally every day. So you just pop a handful of mint leaves, any variety that you want, into a mug. Obviously make sure you've washed them and that they're clean. And yeah, just pour on your boiling water, steep for 5 minutes, and you're good to go. It is so nice, so much better than the tea bags you get. Like, there's just no comparison. I would definitely recommend it. Next, we have a mint tincture. So steep your fresh mint leaves in alcohol, like, you know, I normally say a good quality vodka, for around 4 to 6 weeks in a cool, dark place. Then you strain them and you use a few drops of the tincture in water when you need a little bit of help with your digestive system. Mint infused honey is another lovely one. So you just layer your mint leaves into a jar and cover it with your raw honey and let it infuse for a few weeks. So this is really nice in teas, or you could drizzle it over fruit, or just, you know, have a little spoonful of it if your throat gets a little bit sore and it's nice and cooling on your throat. You could also try a cooling mint compress. So what you do is you make your strong mint tea, you chill it in the fridge, then you soak a cloth in it and apply it to maybe your forehead or the back of your neck on a hot day. It's really cooling and kind of like tingling, so it's really soothing for any headaches if you suffer with those as well. Then we have a mint and eucalyptus steam bowl. So this is good if your like sinuses are quite congested. You could add a handful of mint and a few drops of eucalyptus oil into a bowl of hot water. Obviously, you know, you then put the towel over your head, inhale the steam, and it's really good for just kind of clearing out your sinuses and your lungs. So my final thoughts on this, mint is obviously one of those herbs that is kind of everywhere. Like, it's really easy to get a hold of. It's a great beginner's herb because it just grows like crazy. In terms of growing tips, I definitely recommend popping it in a sunny spot, give it good drainage, and harvest it regularly. You know, it does like to be used, and to keep the plant like nice and bushy and kind of replenishing itself, it's better to just harvest it more and more. So yeah, those are a couple of growing tips, because I grow a lot of mint because I use it so much. I really enjoy it. If you put mint in the ground, it will kind of take over. So it's best to keep it contained in a pot, basically, just to keep it all in one space. Otherwise it just spreads and it'll go everywhere, and before you know it, in a few years you will just have a mint garden. And it's really hard to dig up because its roots are quite, you know, prolific, like things like ivy and stuff like that. Anyway, that is enough of my thoughts and my research on mint. I'm probably gonna go have a peppermint tea now. I'm really feeling that. Let me know if you have any herbal mint recipes in the comments below. If you enjoy a peppermint tea, it is, yeah, it's a really nice herb and it's really easy to get a hold of. So if you want to try any of those recipes, I think it should hopefully be easy to do so and easy to source. Anyway, I am going to leave it there. Please don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more nature-based content every week. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Stay happy and blessed be.